Good morning, teacher. I'm going to expound about the history of Peru and Chile bilateral relations. In the history of Peru-Chile's bilateral relations after 133 years of the end of the past war, it demonstrates a relationship mirrored in the mistruths and confrontation that was characterized by diplomatic tensions, as well as the case of espionage and constant militarization of the common border, where the culture of peace was crossed out between nations. The Anchor Treaty established post-bellic relations between them, with the domain of the Trapping Department and Arica, as well as the Lime Treaty that ended the dispute of the sovereignty of the province of Tacna and Arica, and determining the border between the two countries, such as the unilateral declarations of 190 of 1947 and 1954, which declared the sovereignty and jurisdiction of Peru over the sea adjacent to the coast of the national territory. The 54-country boundary set. The Chavismo, that is the narcissistic belief of the country of region itself, of any aspect that I categorized for many years the relationship between Peru and Chile. Peru and Chile is to take the path of an intelligent relationships without deviating from the direction of integration and friendship that their bonds deserve a process that began with the Court of the Age. Peru and Chile agreed to be a joint measure that coordinates and addresses these threats, dissolving the war. First that characterized bilateral relations since the past war, as a side effect where it would have to drastically reduce arms purchase to implement these resource in development programs, which is moving to a path in peace and unity. The ruling of the Auge court, where it grants Peru 50,000 square kilometers of sea, will not cause problems in commercial relations with Chile. Thanks.
My name is Cesar Orcasitas, and I'm going to talk about trade relations between Peru and Chile. Bilateral negotiations between Chile and Peru began in 1994 by signing a 4-year agreement on 22 of June of 1998. Also, on August 22 of 2006, after 4 rounds of negotiations, the Peru-Chile Free Trade Agreement was signed, and it enters into force on March 1 of 2009. In multilateral affairs, both countries are members of the World Organization of Commerce and are part of APEC and TPP agreement. Also, both are states associated with Mercosur and are part of UNASUR and the Pacific Arch. During 2018, trade between Peru and Chile amounted to $2,577 million, a growth of 14.97% over the previous year. Shipments from Peru to Chile reached in $1,210 million, and also shipments from Chile to Peru reached in $1,366 million. The current structure of Peruvian exports to Chile correspond to 38% to traditional products and 62% to non-traditional products: copper minerals, molybdenum minerals, crude petroleum oils, steel bars, avocado, fish fats and oils, plates and tiles, and polypropylene plates. In terms of imports, in 2019, Chile was the sixth supplier of Peru after having imported of $1,951 million, which represent 2.7% of the total imported Chilean exports, like petroleum oil, other foods, other toys, ammonium nitrate, the wolf poop, paper, frozen fish, paper and cardboard, and also apples.
In Peru and Chile. The cooperation working group that administers the joint cooperation meetings between both countries is made up of the Peruvian Agency for International Cooperation, APCI, and the Chilean Agency for International Cooperation, AGCI. Both have the purpose of strengthening democracy and institutional modernization, the environment and natural resources, and social development, thus creating the Solidarity and Social Investment Funds. Among the main initiatives are the donation of $10,000 to strengthen the entrepreneurial spirit of a group of 50 artisans in the Department of technical assistance to monitor patients with HIV or AIDS or tuberculosis, awarding of postgraduate scholarships, training for prevention and control of anemia and chronic malnutrition in children, training for health professionals to improve tuberculosis prevention and control strategies in Tacna, Arica, and Parinacota regions, mutual technical assistance in matters of public integrity, Chile, Peru. FDI and companies between Peru and Chile. Accumulated Chilean investments in the service sector from 1990 to 2013 were $8,520 million US, 62.6%. The transportation subsector stood out with $3.25 billion. The retail subsector with an accumulated investment amount of $2.7 billion. The energy sector is the second largest element of Chilean investments in Peru with $3 billion, and the individual sector with an investment of $1,779 million. The Peruvian materialized direct foreign investment in Chile between 1974 and 2012 was of $664 million, 94.1% of the authorized investment. Only in 2012, materialized foreign direct investment was the $245 million. The main destinations for investments by Peruvian companies in Chile is the steel sector. The construction, food, banking, plastic, and energy sectors are 23% of Peruvian franchises are positioned in Chile. The most prominent are Astrid and Gaston, Pollo de Pardo, La Mar, Osaka, and Wok from China. According to Proinversión, of the $22,674 million of foreign investment shares registered in 2012, 6.1% came from Chile. In 2019, that country represents 15% of foreign investments in our country.
The first graphic represents the balance of foreign direct investment in our country, where Chile has 15% of investments. It's the third country with the most investments in our country in 2019. The second graph represents the sectors in which Chile invests in our country, where the services and energy sector stands out. In conclusion, the history between Peru and Chile have been involved in various disagreements and conflicts. Peru and Chile are neighboring countries, so there is an important commercial relationship. Both countries have one of the most stable economies in Latin America. Both Peruvians and Chileans do not have resentment or extreme nationalism. They think of a future of greater cooperation and believe that they should increase their commercial and economic relations. and maintain mutual respect. Finally, my group selected some images that represent the good relationship between both countries. Thank you, teacher.